Can I be honest here? I have spent way too much of my life trying to be liked. We tend to believe that staying likable will make us successful. What if I told you that actually saying no more often to anything that doesn't uplift your highest good and saying yes to all of the things that bring you pleasure and joy is actually the key to success? This is a podcast for daydreamers, rule breakers, and paradigm shifters who are too weird to live, too rare to die. Here, together, we are changing the narrative. We no longer accept the systems that tell us we can't be ourselves and that we can't have everything we've ever dreamed of. In fact, we can, and we already do. Not in spite of who we truly are, but because of who we truly are. Believing this and living into this truth starts with one important question. How do you embody your highest self? Welcome back to the Embodiment Project. I'm Dane Real, the multidimensional mommy, and I so appreciate you tuning in, listening, watching, wherever you are finding me today. This is the second episode in my new season, my season 3, which is a bit different than the previous 2 seasons. So definitely go back and listen to my previous episodes and then get settled in here for some one-on-one time with me. I've been getting a lot of great feedback about the first episode from this new season. Some of y'all are saying that you really appreciate that the episodes are a lot shorter. They're about 20 minutes. And so that's my goal, is to try to keep these more short and sweet. I don't want to give away all my secrets all at once. I have other mediums that I want to share my story through. And so these are meant to just be little tastes, little, tidbits of pieces of my story. And my hope is that you take some of what has worked for me in my own personal reclamation journey and be able to apply it to your own life. So I'm starting that by bringing you various topics that are alive for me right now. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about my weightlifting journey. And it's important that I start by naming that this is not a fitness journey. This is not a weight loss journey, right? You'll notice I'm specifically talking about weightlifting. And that's because it's taken me a long time to feel good about the body that I live in. It's taking me a lot of work, a lot of healing, a lot of personal development, and spiritual healing as well, to be able to feel present in this body, in this skin that I'm in. And so you will rarely ever hear me talk about losing weight, about being fit. I'm really just concerned with feeling and being healthy in a way that feels best for me and my body, and being able to move tension throughout my body, out of my body, being able to be mobile, be flexible, and be pain-free. I'm going to take you back to my childhood, where I first started experiencing movement, right? The things that I was doing as a child to move my body were dance. My parents had put me in folklorico. I was part of a folklorico group from the time I was in diapers. In fact, part of the reason I got potty trained was so that I could join the team, because my older sister was on the team. She was 7 years older than me. And so, of course, I wanted to join and do everything my big sister did. And so my parents were like, well, you can join as soon as you start using the potty. And so I started using the potty as soon as possible. That was my first experience with movement, with exercise, with using my body, right? To move and to exercise, and to also gain strength and muscle memory. Maybe not always muscle, but muscle memory for sure, because I can still do those dances to this day. I can remember the footwork. Like, I'll never forget the footwork that I learned. in elementary school, I tried a few different sports. I tried cheer for a year and I was like kind of whatever about it. I started playing basketball for a travel team. And so that was a lot of exercise. And there was definitely a higher level of movement that was expected of us in that program. Also, like lots of tournaments and stuff, right? So, like building stamina, being able to like keep your body hydrated and well nourished so that you have the energy to play multiple games in a tournament. And then in high school, I got involved in volleyball. And volleyball is not a contact sport, so there isn't a whole lot that you need to do to stay strong or see like words like in shape come to mind because that's the kind of verbiage we were taught as young women, as young people, that you have to stay in shape, right? What does that even mean? That's not like that's not my vocabulary. That's like the script that I've been taught. And so as I'm sharing this experience, I'm also highly aware of the ways that our conditioning can still affect us even when we're actively working through it. So back to volleyball. The most rigorous kind of exercise we would do was running the bleachers, right? Going up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's just more for like conditioning. That's more for like doing some cardio, just like, again, building stamina, being able to get through an entire game, use your breath, tap into your systems, right? Get everything moving, get your circulation going. And so I had, out of all these experiences, I had never thought to lift weights. I had never really been interested in lifting weights. My mom had weights at home, maybe like little ones, 2 pounds here, 5 pounds there. You know, I was born in the end of the 80s, so we're just coming out of like the VHS, era. But I never considered like working out in the gym and weightlifting, right? In high school, there was curiosity about it because I would see the guys working out, the football players in the locker room, right? They had like a set of weights in the locker room, but like we weren't allowed to go in there. And the only time we ever went in there is if we were passing through real quick for like an errand or something. And so it never occurred to me like why are those just in the boys' locker room? Why don't other athletes have access to that equipment, right? I wasn't thinking about that. I didn't really care. I just kind of went with the flow, which was like boys play rough sports, contact sports, and so they need to build muscle, and so they have access to weights, whereas we're not a contact sport. I don't know if the basketball players at our school ever lifted weights. I'd be curious to ask them. But as far as volleyball goes, like we just had access to the gym and we do a lot of floor work and stuff, but never lifting any weights. And then in college was probably the first time I had access to like weights at a gym because we had a fitness center on campus that was brand new. The last year I was at Cal State Long Beach, it was just built. And it was beautiful. It had like an indoor track and all this equipment and all these like different recreation rooms, and it was awesome. And so I experimented there a little bit, but I didn't really, take to it right away. I was working a corporate job a couple of years after I had Corey, and there was an employee there who was a personal trainer on the side. And so we would all go sometimes as a group to the local gym where he would give us personal training lessons. And he really exposed me for the first time to weight training and strength training. And so that's kind of where it started. So I'm giving you all this background so you have an idea of like my exposure to weightlifting, to weights, and so that you can see that it's fairly new, this experience. And I'm really excited to share with y'all the difference that it's made in my life. Y'all know I've been a birth worker for over a decade now, and one of my favorite offerings besides birth work and postpartum care is placenta encapsulation. It's one of the body's most potent medicines that postpartum people can benefit from after birth all the way through menopause. Are you someone who wants to expand your skills and enhance your birthwork practice by learning the ancient art of placenta encapsulation? I have some exciting news. You can now enroll in my placenta encapsulation distance training. With my comprehensive placenta encapsulation training, you will learn at your own pace. My pre-recorded instructions, video demos, materials lists, and bonus content will allow you to access the training from anywhere, anytime. It is tailored for all experience levels, whether you are new to birthwork or an experienced professional. This training is designed to suit your needs. Unlock the power of sacred placenta medicine. Discover the incredible benefits of placenta encapsulation and how it can positively impact your clients, families, and communities. Don't miss this opportunity to add the offering of sacred placenta medicine to your repertoire. Enroll now and expand your offerings as a birth worker. Visit my website or contact me today to secure your spot in the placenta encapsulation distance training, and look out for details on my in-person training coming up November 18th and 19th in Long Beach, California, which is open to all who are enrolled in the distance training. I'll see you there. Now that you have an idea of kind of my journey leading up to finding weightlifting, I want to share a little bit about an experience that kept me from it for a while. It was the end of 2020. I got pregnant via surrogacy and had a wonderful pregnancy, with the exception of the very last month where my body was expanding to its fullest capacity. I noticed a few things, and one of them was that my foot was really hurting. Whenever I would step on it, it would just hurt so bad. And I talked to the doctor about it, and they diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis, which is something that I've struggled with my entire life. Different versions of it, even when I was younger doing sports. But this was the worst symptoms I had ever experienced. And so luckily, I was able to get orthopedic inserts for my shoes, and I was working with an orthopedic doctor for a little while who was helping me, learn different types of physical therapy to help. And so flash forward to years after I gave birth and my body's still healing, I decided, I feel ready. I feel strong enough, because after you give birth, your core is so weakened due to all the pressure from being pregnant on the core, right? On the core muscles. Many people that give birth or carry a child tend to have diastasis recti, which is when the abdominal muscles actually separate due to the pressure and the weight of the fetus that is putting pressure on the area. Sometimes it's also when you're pushing, right? When you're pushing, you can push really hard and end up pushing a little too hard. In my case, I got an umbilical hernia, which to this day still is affected when I, lift too heavy or cough too hard or laugh too hard. So it's just something I have to be really careful with. But needless to say, I had several complications after birth, and I had to, take it really slow and take it really easy. And so that leads me to maybe the last, so this was 3 years ago. So maybe the last couple of months, I've been just starting to get back into the gym, just barely getting back into my flow, into my groove, finding a good time to go and it's not too busy, and when there's enough equipment available. And what I'm finding is that I love it. I love being there. I love the masculine energy. I love seeing other women there, just fucking tearing it up. I am so inspired by the gym atmosphere, because it really forces me to be with myself intimately, in my own workout, in a public place, that is usually reserved for you just go in, you do your thing and you leave, but I know what my body needs. I know what weights I need to use. I know which equipment I need to use. I've learned what workout programs work best for me, what exercises work best for my body. And that's another thing I wanted to mention is like for a little while, I was, after a breakup that I had in 2019, before I gave birth, I was working out a lot because I was getting my body ready for the pregnancy, for the surrogacy. I was like training and just trying to feel like strong so that I could go into it feeling healthy and ready. My friend Elisa, shout out Elisa, I hope you hear this. Um, she really helped me. She was like, come on, like, let's go to the gym. And she really encouraged me to like lift and lift heavy and lift till you collapse, like lift until, your muscles tell you like, okay, that's enough. And she really challenged me to feel into the discomfort that comes with lifting heavy weights, and knowing your limits and knowing your posture and knowing your form, making sure you stay on top of your form so you don't get hurt. And so, yeah, that was my experience, kind of like getting into weightlifting. Now, definitely having a friend to either go with you to the gym or like check in, like, hey, did you go to the gym, or what did you do today? I have a couple of friends like that where we'll just be like, oh, I went to the gym today. Oh, cool, me too. What'd you do? How's it going? How are you feeling? um and then also, like, when I first got back into it more recently, I was just trying to like remember like what feels good on my body, figuring out like the right time of day to go and how long I need and things like that. Nowadays, I can tell you it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours for me to be at the gym. And that's because I take my time, I stretch in between, I do a lot of breathing, I have a lot of rest periods, I take time to hydrate, I'm listening to my music, I might send a text here and there. So by the time I get out of there, and then I always go in the sauna when I'm done, because to me, that's my little treat. It's like I did this really intense workout and then I get to go and sweat and be in the dark, hot, like temazcal, It's like, it's my favorite part. It's honestly my treat at the end of every workout. And so that's what I've been doing. And just this week, I started to add more weight and challenge myself more to the point that I'm feeling sore. Like, I'm feeling like it's been a minute since I worked out. And so with that comes another set of challenges. I really see my workouts as an embodiment practice. It's a moment for me to face myself, right? Literally and figuratively. I am looking at myself in the mirror a lot, something that I haven't always done, with a lot of love in my eyes and in my reflection. I'm breathing. I'm in my masculine energy, I'm also around a lot of masculine energy right at the gym. I definitely feel like I'm on display, because number one, like, women are just minorities at the gym that I go to, at least. Definitely at the time that I go to, it's usually a lot of men and very little women. But we're there, and it's also just this, it's like this feeling of being on display. Like, you walk through and everybody looks at you, and it's like they're either looking at you because they like how you look, or they're looking at you because they're like, what are you doing here? Or they're looking at you because they're like, what, like, who do you think you are? And it's like, bro, I'm here for the same reasons you're here. I'm here to get healthy. I'm here to feel strong, and I'm here to get my workout in. Um, and so it's taken a lot of confidence building and, working on feeling safe in my body to show up in spaces like this where I do take up space, like, I'm not a small person. My body is not small. My figure is not small. And so when I'm sharing space, communal space like this at the gym, moving my body in certain ways, breathing, passing by people and getting in and out to get weights or to, get in on a machine, it takes some skill, some like social skills, But for me, it's more like, how do I protect my energy while I'm here so I can come, stay focused, be here to do what I need to do, and channel my strength? How do I channel my true self in this moment, right? How do I show up in this way? Today, during my workout, I was thinking, because, I get there and I kind of do some stretching, some warm-ups, and then start my machine workouts. And I was just thinking, like, you know, I definitely sleep, especially now when it starts to get cold. I sleep like really cozy, like squished in like a little ball. Even my hands, sometimes I'll notice like I'll have them like under my pillow, like all squished. And I've also been seeing in my research like that's a sign of stress and trauma, right? It's a sign that you are tense. And so what I try to do at the gym is like really open my body, like literally stretch my arms, like open my heart, and just really what I like to call like unravel, you know? It's like I'm spent all night like huddled up in a little ball, but now this is my chance to like expand. And then also with lifting weights, you know, your muscles, part of lifting weights is like creating tension and then extension, right? It's like you contract and then you expand, and then you contract and then you expand. And what I'm realizing is like that's like the tension that builds up in our bodies when we're triggered, when we are afraid, when we have anxiety, when we're scared, you know. And so it really pushes me to like use my breath to channel relaxation, to get enough oxygen to my brain, to my muscles, to my blood, while I'm doing these exercises, you know. And then I think like stretching in between just makes me feel more present with my body, the sensations that my body's having. Now, there's one thing I wanted to mention before I wrap up here, and that is this idea of sexual reclamation and liberation through weightlifting. So, when I'm talking about weightlifting, what am I doing? What does it look like? Like I'll do some upper body stuff, I'll do some lower body stuff, some squats and stuff, but there's one specific workout that I love to do, which I know like always makes people trip. Like no matter what time of day I go to the gym, no matter what gym I go to, like every time I do this exercise, it like trips people out, and specifically men, because it's sexual, like to them, right? To them, it's sexual. It's the weighted pelvic or hip thrust. And essentially, it's like you put the bar over your pelvic bone and you have your back against a bench and you use your glutes to push your butt up straight and have your upper body straight. And so, and you just do it, you know, a couple of times, and you can really feel those glute muscles growing when you do this, especially the more weight you add, right? I first started at body weight only, right? So I didn't do any weights. And then I started with like a 20-pound barbell. And then slowly but surely I've been building up. This week I hit a personal record. Actually, no, I've done more, but just for this like more recent round of me working out, I hit a personal record of lifting 50 pounds. And that's a huge accomplishment for me, you know. That shows me that I'm progressing, that I'm getting stronger, that my muscles are getting stronger, that my body's getting stronger. But when I'm at the gym, like, and I see people looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, you're lifting weights with your pussy, you know, like that is what I think they're thinking sometimes, but they don't know what it took me to get there. You know what I mean? They don't know how much courage and how much confidence it takes to do this exercise, knowing that people are going to look at me, think things that are not even a concern to me right now, and do it anyway. You know, it's like this idea that we should be ashamed to be sexual beings. Like, yes, my body moves this way. In this moment, it is not moving this way for your pleasure or even for mine. Granted, I do experience a lot of pleasure in my body when I work out. But in this specific example, that's not really the point. The point is like, I'm here to do a thing and you think this is about you. And so you want to make it about you. As I'm talking to the people that are often the ones that like stare, you know, when I'm doing this. And I'm also like breathing and like really, you know, feeling it. But I do it anyway because I know that that's not why I'm doing this and that's not why I'm there. Although we know that building muscle, building strength can certainly have its benefits in the bedroom when it comes to stamina, when it comes to, you know, training your body to move in ways that bring you the most pleasure. So that's a different topic for next time. But I just wanted to share some of the wonderful things that exercising in this way, moving my body in this way has brought me. And one last thing is that sometimes I go to the gym and I'm like ready to lift heavy, and it really depends on where I'm at in my cycle, right? There's going to be certain parts of the month that I'm not really willing to go that hard. And in those times, I'll usually just resort to yoga. You know, yoga is one of the most restorative, ancient movement practices that I have had the honor and pleasure of benefiting from. And that's usually my go-to when I'm not feeling like strong enough or energetic enough to lift weights. I'll often go to yoga and just lift myself, you know, in it, whether it's in a downward dog or a plank position, or I really love to stretch and again unravel. So I'll show a couple of videos of me doing that as well, so y'all can see what I mean. But you know, I've really come a long way, and I'm really proud of myself. And so I hope that this episode sheds a little bit more light on my experience. You know, what you see on social media is only a glimpse. It's only a fraction of what I'm actually doing at the gym. And I want to share more, but I also don't want this to seem like it's like a fitness page or like a weight loss thing, because that's not what this is. Like, I could give a shit about any of that stuff. I'm really happy with who I am. I'm really happy with this body that I live in. And more than anything, I want to learn how to love it even more by experiencing it, right? Spending time with it, like taking intentional time to be with my body, with its capabilities, with its limitations, and learn how to push through discomfort with the tools that I've acquired through my own embodiment practices and my own inner work. So with that, I will see you next time. All right, y'all, that's it for today. If you are enjoying the Embodiment Project, please help us keep our 5-star rating by going to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating, leave us a review. Let me know what is speaking to your heart. What are you taking from this episode? If you want to connect with me, feel free to follow me on Instagram at the Multidimensional Mami. Mami is spelled M-A-M-I. If you want to learn more about my workshops, classes, courses, music, feel free to go to my website at www.daneliaarechiga.com. See you next time.